Today is a great day because today is SpongeBob's 25th anniversary. To celebrate, I'm going to be versing first 3 episodes: Help Wanted, Reef Blower, and Tea at the Treedome, to see which one is the best first episode in SpongeBob. So here we go. Alright, so Help Wanted. This was the very first episode of SpongeBob. The premise is very simple. First off, it starts with a French narrator, and SpongeBob is getting ready to apply for the Krusty Krab. And so things are going to go really well. At first, he's really nervous, but thanks to Patrick, he gets his confidence boost up until he's ready to work. Mr. Krabs, Squidward, they don't believe that he's actually a good worker, but they just still test him to get a crazy spatula. But then Anchovies comes after SpongeBob leaves, and so Mr. Krabs and Squidward have to deal with that until SpongeBob comes back with a spatula and gets hired after feeding all the anchovies. And so this is a really great first episode. By the way, I'm not putting the production company and distributor because it just doesn't really make sense. So I'm just going to put the reception of the episode. This was a really solid first episode. It's incredibly well made. It introduces to SpongeBob and his antics. And obviously this premise was simple, but we need a simple premise. I mean, it's the first episode. It makes sense. Now, Reef Blower is really interesting because it was the only episode that had no dialogue. Well, besides one few letters like you or fee. Rather, it's more like based on the gags, and it's a pretty simple premise. Focuses on SpongeBob clearing this seashell after Squidward pushes it into his yard, and so it goes as well as you expect. Uses a reef blower, blah blah blah. Good premise, crazy story. I mean, it's not crazy. It's very simple, and it's still a pretty good, solid story. I would say it's definitely smaller. It's not as huge as the first episode, but it makes sense. Also, this was made in 1999. The other one, I forgot to tell you, was made in 1997. That's why it looks a little different. So when 1999 came for Reef Blower, it looks a little different. It still looks really solid, and I absolutely love how much creativity it got through. And it's pretty cool. They were just experimenting, and this experimental episode is pretty great. Tea at the Treedome. This was the first time when we meet Sandy Cheeks. And it's kind of weird that when Camp Coral came out, Sandy and SpongeBob first met there. But I don't believe that. I believe that Tea at the Treedome, was the first time they met. And after meeting SpongeBob, after Sandy meets SpongeBob, Sandy invites SpongeBob over at the Treedome. And so SpongeBob goes there. Turns out there's no water. Uh-oh. And so SpongeBob struggles, and he goes fine until Sandy leaves to get tea, and he goes insane. And then Patrick comes by, and he also loses the water. And so, and luckily Sandy in the end gives them both water. So yeah, that's great. And that's how the episode ends. That's how Sandy is introduced to Patrick, and they all get tea at the end. Great episode. Great stuff. Once again, it's simple, but it was at the beginning of its peak. And for being the third episode, the third episode of the series in the season 1, it's pretty great. Absolutely adore it. After going through the first 3 episodes, my favorite is Help Wanted. It was the start of SpongeBob and introduced the Krabby Patty, Krusty Krab, all its characters, including Gary, his house, his pineapple, everything. His first intro. This was shown after the Kids' Choice Awards in 1999. And funny enough, and Nickelodeon doesn't call this their first, this 25th anniversary. They call it later when, all the episodes start airing. But I still think it's an anniversary. And so I believe this is the best first episode to start. And yeah, that's the end of this versus. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and I'll see you guys next time. Goodbye.